Is it ever explained why he can just turn into dust?
He's an obscurial.
Okay.
I think his power has manifested in a way because it was suppressed for so long, it kind of built and built and built, and then it's let out like that.
Just basically blue balling his magic.
Yeah.
until he can
Until he becomes super
ejaculate his spells everywhere.
Oh, God. Always have to lower the tone.
Yeah. Hi, and welcome back to another week of Two Sheep in a Ball. I'm James.
And my name's Ben.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. So, well, apart from that, I made an absolute mess.
I was going to say, what have you just done? You've had a proper mare at the beginning.
5 seconds ago, pick up my drink and just spill it everywhere. And then I'm like covered in Coke now. Coca-Cola,
specify.
Yes. I'd have to get high to do this. No.
Are you feeling in the Christmas spirit yet?
I am.
Are you?
I love the Christmas spirit.
Okay, right, I thought that this might turn into a complaint because I was fully expecting you to be like, oh, bloody lead up to Christmas. I just thought you were going to be a proper Grinch.
No.
Oh, well, this is a pleasant surprise.
Christmas is like the reverse for me.
Oh, amazing.
You've saw me wearing a Christmas jumper at like
you did
bonfire
actually.
night.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah, so I've been wearing Christmas jumpers for like a couple of weeks now.
Because I've been wondering when to start putting Christmas songs into my sets.
Yeah. Well, I in the shower the other day, I just put on a Christmas playlist. You got to start with it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yep.
I do enjoy a bit of that one.
What's your favourite Christmas song?
Someone asked me the other day, and I think it's probably The Pogues.
Okay. Classic one.
Fairy Tale of New York, yeah.
What
about you?
Quite partial to Driving Home for Christmas.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Okay, do you do a lot of driving home for Christmas, though?
I did last year.
Yeah.
Or did I get the train last year? I remember putting it on because I was coming home from a gig on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
At Christmas. Mm-hmm. I just had that on loop for the last 20 minutes.
Very nice. Yeah, no, it's kind of the opposite of Halloween for me. I really enjoy the Christmas spirit.
I feel
like Halloween's just a bit like meh.
I was intentionally setting up a complaint on the podcast, but
no, not from me.
No complaint to be had. Have you even got a complaint this week?
I've not been that grouchy this week.
No?
No.
Are you mellowing as a person?
I don't think so.
A bit less anger simmering at the surface.
I can't say that. But there's nothing that's really grinding my gears this week.
There's nothing?
There's nothing that I want to get onto.
Well, I'm proud of you. You're growing as a person.
Maybe I'll have
Until next week.
Yeah, maybe I'll have 2 next week. Maybe they'll just build up.
Oh, God.
And you start making a full list, maybe.
Okay.
And come to one every week.
Should we get straight into the news, then?
Yeah, let's go into News Bleat.
Cool, News Bleat. I'd like to open with one bit of sad news that broke immediately after our last episode.
Yeah.
So this is a week old now, but I want to mention it because it's near and dear to my heart that Stan Lee died this time last week.
Was it Tuesday, wasn't it? Was it not?
Oh, it might have been. It was whenever I was editing this.
Yeah.
It was a week ago, roughly, anyway. But that was very sad news. It was one of those ones that, even though you'd kind of been expecting it would happen, because he was 95, wasn't he, when he died?
Yeah, he's pretty old.
I think for the past 3 years at least, whenever I've seen his photo pop up on my newsfeed, my heart's kind of skipped a little bit and gone, oh God, oh no, he's all right. It's just a news article. Yeah. But no, he died, which was very sad.
Yeah. I feel I was the bearer of bad news for you.
Yeah, you were actually. I'd been editing for the past few hours. I'd not looked at anything, and then I saw a text come through from you saying,
just Stanley.
Sad face. Then I immediately rushed to social medias and found it.
No, it's I guess we'll get to a point where they've used up all these cameos as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to feel about it, but I know that they'd kind of prepared for it. He'd banked up a lot of cameos, and he's definitely going to be in the what could potentially be the last Avengers film as we know it this year. It's confirmed that he's going to be in that.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely see him at least one more time. But he was. I was reading more about him because I obviously knew about him.
Yeah.
In a distant sense, but he was made editor of Marvel at 19.
Wow.
19 years old. It's crazy. And then he held the position for I think about 30 years as editor. Crazy. But he created so many of the characters. I don't know how much do you know about Stan Lee?
Yeah, only that he kind of was like a creator and a big influence of Marvel.
Yeah.
Really. Well, it was him and someone else was kind of the...
Yeah, there was kind of a few of them. The main ones, it was Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, and Stan Lee. They kind of all co-created a few. But he had like the ultimate run of creating characters that have become just embedded in pop culture. That I can't really think of anyone else who's had that massive of an influence on that number of characters.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. Like the main one was obviously Spider-Man, but I think that was my favorite one when I was little, because it was kind of like the most relatable one, that he'd have kind of his life at school and then he'd kind of be the everyday kind of hero after. He wasn't like a god character from out of space. He was like, could have been you.
Yeah, or a billionaire or something like that. He just had something random happen to him that turned him into this superhero.
Yeah, it was that one as a kid you could think like, that could happen to me, like on a school trip when we go to the butterfly farm. One of them could land on me.
Turn into Butterfly Man.
That was my dream.
Do you think you'd have to go into a cocoon to get to Butterfly Man?
Yeah, that'd be quite the character, you know. Needs a cooler name, but...
Have you got anything else before I go on to fake news?
I have got one bit, actually.
Okay.
This is cycling news.
Okay.
But it's angering me and amusing me in equal measure.
Good.
So the governing body for cycling is the UCI. They're kind of the ones that kind of manage all the rules across all the races in the year. And
how much rules can cycling have?
Well,
just don't put a motor on it.
An insane amount of rules.
Is it really?
An insane amount. They are getting a lot of flack, and a lot of people don't. They're basically trying to keep cycling stuck in the past to a degree. That technology has got to a point where you could end up with bikes that don't really look like bikes anymore, like aerodynamics that benefit from other shapes and stuff. So there was one period where bikes were starting to look crazy, and they kind of stepped in. They were like, nope, it needs to have these dimensions, like basically like two triangles, to keep it looking like a bike. So there's all sorts of rules around that. But alongside all of these rules, they're trying to keep other aspects of technology grounded as well.
Okay.
A new rule that they have brought in, but they're going to be properly enforcing again from next year, is they're going to have people who are going to be checking this at every race. Sock height.
No. Mm-hmm. What is this, like the reverse of like school stuff? You know, you gotta have like your skirt a certain length.
Yep.
So is it you can't have it too long, I'm assuming?
Yes. They're saying there's basically one team in cycling, Team Sky, who have been dominating for the past few years.
And it's because they've had long socks.
And it's mostly other countries are kind of like, they're a British team.
Yeah.
And all of them, like any excuse, they'll be like, they had a new type of skin suit that they were like, it's got dimples on. That's making them faster. That's illegal. They can't wear that because they're saying it's like modifying their body shape.
Okay.
So I think it's just getting out of hand. That this, while cycling, I think it could benefit from having technology leaps and just kind of raise its public awareness because it's not a mainstream sport in the UK at least.
No.
It needs as much help as it can get. And when you get the governing body stepping in and putting time and effort into managing sock height, I'm like, what are you doing?
What is the regulation limit?
So, hang on. The new rule says, socks and overshoes used in competition may not rise above the height defined by half the distance between the middle of the lateral malleolus and the middle of the fibular head, accompanied by an image with kind of a bone.
Okay.
Kind of referencing specifically where this has been. Like, basically...
So it depends on your length of your leg.
Well, because if you said it can't come above the knee or something like that, then obviously everyone's legs are going to be different sizes. Yeah. But it's basically between the ankle and the knee, halfway between.
Okay.
That's the limit. But I'm just like, piss off.
So, and like, for example, can you not wear longs then? Like, does it have to be shorts when you're cycling?
Has to be... Well, this, I'm not sure, because in the winter... You obviously wear long tights.
Yeah.
That covers your whole leg.
Exactly. Our tight's just one long sock.
Beats me.
That's very strange and
I
very
just think
specific.
It's ridiculous that this is being...
Fake. No, this is fake news, Ben. You've sold me down the river. Fake.
I wish I could say it was fake news. But how stupid is that?
That is ridiculous. Oh, I'm not happy with that.
Like, it's not clear what the repercussions are going to be if you have socks that come over that point.
Can you just have like longer socks, but then you just like roll them down a little bit for measurement?
Maybe.
Or do they have to watch like every single frame?
I imagine, because they film every race as well, I imagine in the middle they could be like, yep, that guy, just pull him out the race. His socks are too long. I just think it's ridiculous anyway. I just thought I'd bring that up because it was a stupid bit of stupidness.
No, I kind of think it depends. If you can improve the technology, then I think you should be able to do it.
I completely agree.
But they do the kind of same thing with F1.
Yeah.
Is that they're kind of limiting it because, although that's kind of dangerous, it was like getting too fast for like safety reasons. But like if you can go quicker on a bike because you wear a certain suit, then is that okay?
Is it where do you stop though? Because if they'd done that with F1, that you could only go in horse-drawn carriages years ago, they'd be like, oh, now it's got motors. It's I think you know what I mean?
No, you know what, with cycling, we should go back to the penny farthings.
Exactly.
I think so. That'd be
like if you want to go back to the essence of cycling in the first sense, like you don't want to get caught in that. Stupid. Anyway, that's my news. Well, let's move on.
Move on. Do you want to get on to fake news?
Fake news or not? Is
fake
that what
news
we're
or
calling
not?
it?
Sure.
Okay. Fake news or not?
Fake news or not?
Do
Okay.
we need a theme for that?
No.
Maybe
we've got a news theme.
We could put a bar, but like a question bar? Bar?
How do you know when a sheep's asking a question?
I don't know.
This is getting silly now. No,
Right.
fake news or not?
Okay, I'll let you do your segment.
Okay. So my first one is a darts player has blamed the farts of his opponent for losing. He's blaming that his farts were so smelly that it put him off. And he's claiming there should be an investigation into this.
Is he claiming that he was just farting and he was put off by it, or was he intentionally farting to put him off?
That he was intentionally farting of it.
Wow, that's a bold claim, that.
Yeah, and it's going around as fartgate.
Fartgate.
Yes, in the darting world. So we just need to get to the bottom of this, I think.
Okay, you and me.
Yeah, but also
Okay.
there's a joke there you just totally missed.
Bottom of the... Ay. That was bad.
Thank you. So that's that first one. Okay. And the second one is a Wyoming man found out that his Newfoundland puppy was actually a brown bear after taking it to the vets for his vaccinations.
Right.
So that's not a brown bear, sorry, a black bear.
A black bear.
Black bear, yeah.
Okay. Big difference.
Big difference, yeah. So that he went to the vets to get it vaccinated, and the vet was like, "This is actually a bear."
This is a bear. Is there? This might not be a real one, but is there pictures of him?
What, of the bear?
Yeah, because I thought a bear's quite clearly a bear, and a dog's quite clearly a dog, even as puppies
you would
and
assume
cubs.
so. Well, I haven't got any pictures. No.
Does that mean it's fake then?
Well,
Oh.
it's kind of just a shifty news story. So
Okay.
you have to make the decision, Ben. Do you think fake news, not fake news for both of them?
Well, I was on a hot streak after 1 week, which was all brought crashing down last week. So maybe I can pull it back. Okay, what we got here? We've got
Fartgate, bear dog.
Bed. I'm going both true.
No.
Oh,
one
of them.
One
true.
of them's true. Which one?
Do I get a bonus point if I guess which one was true?
You have to just guess.
Okay, I'm just guessing. Fartgate's true.
Fartgate is true.
Yes. I'm salvaging some sort of victory from that.
Yes. No. The bear dog. I've just totally made up.
That was a good one though.
Thank you.
You had me going. I thought it was true. Well done.
It's taken me some time to think of like fake.
That was convincing.
Yeah. I think I have seen stuff in the past where it's like a dog was a bear. But that one's just totally
Not in Wyoming.
Not in Wyoming.
That detail
That's where
might
you
have
get
swayed
shit,
me,
yeah.
you know.
And then you found the dog and the black bear.
Yeah.
Just
Well done.
Do you think you would be put off by someone's farts if you were playing darts? Oh, it just rhymes.
I mean, I think you'd be put off by farts in a lot of situations. There's not really a situation where you go, "Oh, that's pleasant."
Yeah, but like if you're a professional,
Yeah, I think you should. Well, it depends how bad it was.
yeah.
It might have been bad.
Do you think you could plan ahead and eat like food that makes your farts smell particularly bad?
I don't think I could. What? No.
Yeah, so I think it'd be interesting to find out if it was intentional.
Is this like actually has an investigation been launched, or is he just kind of going around media spouting excuses, or is it being taken seriously?
It's not. I think some people are joking about it, but I think the opponent is actually quite annoyed.
Yeah, I would be.
that he's been farted all over.
Okay. We got any more newsy related things?
Nothing from me.
No, nothing from me. I mean, I could go on even more about Red Dead, but I feel like I've done that twice already. It keeps getting better.
Red Dead is good.
Red Dead is very good.
Oh. Okay.
Right, let's go on to the main topic.
Yes. So, what are we talking about this week, Ben?
We're talking about, well, I want to say Harry Potter.
Yeah.
We are going to be talking about Harry Potter, but
yeah.
We're reviewing Fantastic Beasts 2.
The Crimes of Grindelwald.
The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh, you have to say it.
Did you notice that they made a point of emphasising that?
Did they?
Because I thought it was just Grindelwald.
Yeah.
And then there was a few characters that were like Grindelwald.
Were they not just French? Is that like...
Well, I mean, one of them was Dumbledore, so...
Yeah, he's French.
He's French. But before we get into the review, I thought we'd do just some Harry Potter chat. Do you like Harry Potter? Are you a big fan?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the main series of books. Read them a lot when I was younger. Have been listening to them again in audiobook. Stephen Fry reads them beautifully.
He does. What a voice.
I would really recommend those.
Yeah, I think this is, if not one of the defining kind of franchise of our childhood, for me at least.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the books I think obsessed with when we were younger, and then they turned into films, and they were kind of almost close enough that they kind of ran alongside. The books were always a bit ahead, obviously.
Yeah.
So, what house are you in?
So after doing the Pottermore quiz,
the official quiz.
I'm sure you've asked me this, have you? Do you not
know?
Oh
yeah, I think when you were first going out with your girlfriend, we like vetted you by seeing what house you were.
Yeah, and I told you what it was, and then you made me do the quiz again because I don't think you believed me.
That could well have happened.
Yeah, so I was placed in like Slytherin, evil house.
Oh my god. Get out.
Yeah, I know. And then I did it again, and you were like, "Oh no, it is Slytherin."
Yeah,
but you're Gryffindor, right?
I am
Gryffindor.
I think between it, because there's the old version of the Pottermore quiz. There's a new version and tons of side ones, and mostly it's been Gryffindor. About 80%. Out of probably like 20 quizzes. Not that I'm obsessive or anything. Yeah, Gryffindor. And I've even got my little Gryffindor coaster just there. Nice. I'm afraid I've not got a Slytherin one for you. No. So you're having to make do with Ravenclaw.
No, that's fair enough. What about you then? I'm assuming you really enjoyed the whole thing then. Yeah.
I love those films. There's definitely ones that are better than others, especially coming back to them now we're a bit older.
Yeah.
Because I'd say objectively the first two, like the acting's not fantastic,
no, but they are kids.
But they have like I'm gonna have to say this all like the whole way through, so excuse the pun, but there's like a magic to them. They've got like a charm.
There's a charm to them. Yeah.
There's I love
because the first one's just like an introduction into the magical world, isn't it? And you get to see like the magic in big screen, and it's kind of beautiful in a way.
And also we'd have been young when they were coming out. Like, it was. As a child, I think I said this in our gaming episode, like, when I was little, it was painful to me that it's not real. Yeah. Like, there was always that part of me that was like, I'm gonna get my letter.
It is real, late, Ben. You're just a muggle.
Yeah. Well, if that was the case, it's even sadder.
Yeah.
It's a world I can never be a part of.
Oh.
No, I love Harry Potter. What did you think of because there's the original films.
Yes.
And then they've not rebooted, but they've kind of brought it back again with Fantastic Beasts.
Yes.
What did you think of the first one?
First Fantastic Beasts? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Newt's story. I enjoyed seeing all the magical animals.
Yeah.
Like, which in the Harry Potter films and universe you saw a bit of, but it wasn't really the focus.
It was always Harry's story.
Yeah.
Whereas this one's more broad.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I'd say I liked the last one as well. I don't think it was on the same level as the film, like the original series.
No.
But I thought it was still good. We saw like a different angle, because it's obviously, about 100 years? Not quite 100 years previously, but it's a chunk of time previous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
So it's like when Dumbledore's young.
Yeah.
And now Dumbledore's old.
We see
this one. Yes.
So
because it's kind of going back to the world of magic that we'd not been to in quite a long time, which was quite good.
Yeah.
Good to see the magic part of it as well, and the magical world.
And the big difference, I think, in the last one and to a degree this one, that it wasn't focused in just Britain.
Oh yeah.
We moved into America for the entirety.
Yeah, that was quite interesting.
The last one. The big change I didn't like was obviously Muggles are non-magic people. And in America, they were called no-mages.
Yeah.
Which that's just a bit cheap, isn't it?
But that's like Americans, though, isn't it?
Just in general.
Yeah, I can just see that. Like, it does what it says on the tin. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Fall. Leaves fall.
Yeah, straight down
no
the
magic.
line.
No magic.
No mag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I think it's typical. Muggle's got a bit more magic to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, it feels like a real thing. Whereas no mag to me it almost takes me out of it. It's a bit like, that's what you went with.
Yeah, it almost feels like a pre-label. You couldn't think of what actually to name it, so you just put like no match, and like, we'll come back to that.
Yeah, I suppose it makes sense, because originally I was kind of like, why have you changed it? Surely it'd just be the same term, but I suppose countries do have their own, slang terms for everything. Yeah. Do you want to go into Fantastic Beasts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we do like a little non-spoilery bit first for people who haven't seen the film, and then go in spoilers, or should we just go spoilers from the off? If you've not seen it, go see it now and come back.
Yeah, because I feel like
it's going to be hard to skirt around it.
Yeah, I don't know how not to spoil stuff without doing it.
So this is your fair warning, anyone who's listening. Spoilers from here on out.
Yeah, and there's probably going to be no time link, because it'll probably just be the end.
Yep. So see you next week.
Go and watch it, or if you're not going to watch it and listen along, that's fine.
Here we go. Cool. So
should we start with, should you go watch it? Like, we're going to give that general overarching thing. What should we say at the end?
Okay. Let's do that now. Let's give a vague one line what we think.
My answer is, I'm saying no.
Okay. I'm saying yes.
Okay.
But I didn't really like the film.
Okay, well, mine's no, but if you really enjoy the world of Harry Potter, then
I think if you're a Harry Potter fan, see it, because you're going to see it anyway if you're a Harry Potter fan.
Definitely.
I don't think it's good.
I don't think it's good at all.
No.
As a standalone film, it's terrible. I have like loads of issues with it. Mm-hmm. Like, I went and watched it, and me and my girlfriend were walking back from the cinema, and we almost got into like an absolute row about it, because she was adamantly loving it. And I was just like, yeah, but what about this part? And she's like, stop ruining the magic for me.
Yeah.
So I just want to talk about how everything was not that good, really.
I am really glad that you've said this, because I went to see it with my girlfriend and one of our friends, and we left, and both of them were gushing about how good it was.
What?
And I felt like, is it just me who hated it then? I'm glad that you've said it. And also, like, I've listened to a few film podcasts, and they all had the same thoughts I did, and I kind of relaxed there, because I was like, okay, I'm not going crazy, like.
Yeah. They've just been fooled by the magic, haven't they? Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if you love it, fair play to you. I wish I could have loved it as well, because I went in expecting to like it, and I was just really disappointed. Mm-hmm. Before we go into like details in the film, shall we come up with a 2 sheep rating system for films? Like, out of 5 bars.
Out of 5 bars. Yeah.
Okay. Out of 5 bars, how many bars?
Do I have to bar them individually?
Yes,
or
you do. Okay. Only you, I don't.
I'd give it... Or you could do it out of 3. You could give it a B, A, A. Or is that silly?
I feel like 3's not enough to work with.
No.
Because we could either go, I feel like 10 or 5.
I don't like 10.
But 10's too many.
Yeah.
Let's 5 bars.
5 bars. I would give it 2.
2. I think I would just about give it 3, but only just about. It's not like a solid 3.
Problem with 3 is that it's above halfway.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Halfway's like average.
I'm going to stick with that. We'll go into more detail now, but
what was your... Have you got a major gripe with it, or...
My major gripe with the whole thing is characters. There's 2 things. There's too many, and I don't care about any of them.
No.
They're nothing characters.
Yeah.
The biggest problem was Newt, the main character. I don't find him compelling or interesting in this one.
No.
At all.
My first line, like my notes here, I've just got is, what did Newt do?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know what he did that whole film.
I feel like it's hard because you're constantly comparing it up to a point to the original films because it's in that universe, but also we need to think of them as separate things. But I feel like you could take pretty much any character from the original series, no matter whether they're a side character or a main one, and there's something to love about them and care about. Like, you can be invested. Whereas this one, nothing there for me. Especially, I've forgotten half the names of them because there was so many.
Actually, I'm going to get the IMDb now so I can talk about it. Get the IMDb up so you can talk about the character names.
Come on, let's...
So, what were you saying?
So, yeah, okay, we've got the main cast list up now. There was a few characters that I just wish they had not brought back. I think is it Jacob, his like sidekick guy?
Oh, right, yeah.
I quite liked him in the last film. He was kind of the comedic relief. He was all right. I didn't love him, but he was good. And at the end of that first film, they wiped his memory.
Yeah.
So they had a perfect opportunity to just just leave him.
Yeah.
Just leave him out. But in this one, they brought him back. I wish they hadn't. He annoyed me. I'd go as far to say he was just an irritating character who didn't really have a hand in anything.
No, he was just kind of in the way, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I feel like he was only there so that his like girlfriend could have an issue.
Yeah, which didn't feel real. It didn't feel like she would decide what she decided to do from what we've seen of her.
Yeah, it makes no sense. So basically, is she called Al or Alison? Is that who it is? No, Queenie.
That's
it's Alison's the person who plays it.
Yeah.
Queenie is in love with a muggle or a non-mage. And Grindelwald basically promises to make it better.
Right, okay, here we go. To sum this up, what's the story?
I don't know.
No.
But basically, I feel like the story was with finding out who Credence really is.
Yep.
I feel like that's kind of the main plot.
Yeah.
With kind of other elements around it.
Mm-hmm.
And
way too many elements.
And Grindelwald wants Credence to find out who he is so he can control him, because Credence is really powerful, and so Grindelwald becomes really powerful.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, because the main thing is that Grindelwald and Dumbledore, who are on a level with each other in power and kind of good and evil side, they can't fight each other because of this bond that they have.
The way they revealed that really annoyed me.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like they made like a blood brother pact. And then, they cut each other's palms, put them together, and then it was like that. And the way they showed this was through the Mirror of Erised.
Yep.
Which to me is, it shows your greatest desire. Mm-hmm. Well, is Dumbledore's greatest desire to see past self making a blood pact?
This was the side of this that I liked, actually.
Yeah.
I thought Dumbledore was good, and I wish that they had. So, first film, they're calling it Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah.
I wish that they'd just taken the Fantastic Beast part off and just called it The Crimes of Grindelwald and follow the story of Dumbledore and Grindelwald. Just don't do the whole shoehorning of other characters in.
Yeah.
Because the idea is that Dumbledore is in love with Grindelwald. He was his childhood romance.
Is it? Is he actually gay?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't actually explicitly say.
It doesn't explicitly say, and she's never explicitly said in books. J.K. Rowling hasn't.
No.
But she has in interviews and stuff afterwards.
Said that he was gay.
Said that he's gay. So that's why he was seeing him in the mirror, I think. Because his deepest desire is Grindelwald, because he wants to be with him, but he knows he can't be with him, and that's his struggle. Which I kind of like up to a point that I don't mind that element. But again, it was just a part of 250 different elements that they were trying to cram in.
Yeah,
it was just like, pick one story.
If he's going to be gay and he loved him in the past, you kind of need to make it more explicit. Because I came out, and this is what my girlfriend said. He was like, yeah, he's gay. He's definitely in love with him. Mm-hmm. But I was like, was he? Like, I wasn't convinced from what I've seen in any of the films. Yeah. And if J.K. Rowling hadn't come out to the wider public and said, oh yeah, he's definitely gay, I wouldn't have thought that. Because to me, it's like blood brothers. It's kind of like, oh, we had like the strongest pact as like friends, and like we're more like brothers and that. Like, it doesn't explicitly say, it doesn't have like a love heart around him. It doesn't show any sort of, the only past that we see from Dumbledore and Grindelwald is what we see in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And it's basically just them cutting hands and putting it together. Yeah. Just so that we can understand
if you had no prior knowledge to what the mirror was, you wouldn't have had a clue what was going on in that sequence.
No.
It didn't work well. One as part of the series, I don't think, but it didn't work well on its own either.
No, I think it was just a really weak plot device. It was just like,
very weak.
Grindelwald wears this charm around his neck. Oh, what's that about? Oh, well, we need to show that. Well, how can we show that? Oh, here's a mirror that shows things. Mm-hmm. That'll work. It was just terrible.
So before we just move into a full hour of us destroying this film, and just hating on it, was there anything you liked? Anything that was good that you kind of walked away thinking you liked that? Oh wow, this is bleak.
It was nice to see Hogwarts. I think Jude Law was really good as Dumbledore.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway was I like Jude Law as Dumbledore, and I want to see more of that.
Yeah,
I thought it was, when I first heard about his casting, I wasn't sold because Dumbledore felt like such a precious character that I didn't want to see someone else do.
Yeah.
That it was kind of jarring, but seeing him, I liked it. He had that hint of the kind of Irish lilt to the voice that came through occasionally.
Yeah.
That Michael Gambon had given given him. I quite like that. But as a whole, I thought that was good, and I liked seeing Hogwarts a lot.
Yeah. Can you explain to me McGonagall?
Who she is? What do you mean?
Why she was in this film at all?
I think it was just here's an Easter egg. You know this character.
But like this, so this was set, in between World War One and World War Two? Mm-hmm. And the scene that we saw her in was set even previous to that.
Yeah.
Because it was when Newt was in school. Mm-hmm. So that was, I don't know, I think it's years ago. I think I went online and was like looking at McGonagall, and it was like, oh, she would have been 8 in that scene. Why was she like a middle-aged woman already?
I'd not actually thought about that, because I know Dumbledore is old when we see him. Like, he's older than an old man. Like, he's in his hundreds.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I think I just kind of assumed that McGonagall would be the same. Does it not match up that way either?
Like, so like the given dates of like Pottermore and stuff like that just doesn't add up. She would be about 8.
Right. Okay, that doesn't make
any
sense.
So I was like, when I saw her, I was like, because she's still alive. She doesn't look that. She looks quite old in the newest films, but not like, you know, she was 80 or something like that.
No. Okay, because I just kind of suspended my belief type thing, thinking that she was just a really old character like Dumbledore in a... Oh, okay, well.
So that annoyed me when we went back to Hogwarts.
Well, I was going to say, with Hogwarts, it did two things that it made me... I enjoyed that section of the film. I thought it really worked, but it just made me wish that was the focus of... That we were seeing more Dumbledore and Hogwarts and that side of the story, because it took me out of the film again and made me realise this is nowhere as good as the other films that were set in Hogwarts, and that's what we were getting. So whilst I enjoyed that section, when we then returned to the characters we were seeing in present day in their time, I was just like, this isn't as good as the other bits. So that kind of did good and bad, I thought.
Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts, because I thought this was quite good. The opening scene where Grindelwald escapes and we kind of get that action sequence where they're fighting in the air.
Uh-huh.
I liked that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
We'd never really seen an action set piece in the Harry Potter films like that, I didn't think.
No.
So that was kind of cool.
No, it's quite interesting. And then he like throws a lizard out of the cart.
Yeah.
I didn't really... Like, was he in the last film, that lizard? I don't really get it.
No.
Was it just to kind of show it as like, Grindelwald's a bad man, and we can show that by him throwing a pet out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a bit weak.
Yeah, right. Johnny Depp as Grindelwald.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I'm not my biggest issue with the film.
It's not my biggest issue, but I just wish, because we saw in the last film Colin Farrell as the villain, and then it turned out that was Grindelwald with Polyjuice Potion.
Oh yeah.
I really wish they kept him, because I thought he was great. I thought he was a threatening presence, and he seemed evil and good. And then to have Johnny Depp replace him, it felt like it was trading it out for a lesser thing for me. Not saying he's a bad actor in any way, but just Johnny Depp as Grindelwald, I feel would have been better as Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
So I was just disappointed that it almost felt like he was going to be the villain, and then it was snatched away from us, and I was like, oh, goddamn.
Yeah, he didn't blow me away in the same way I thought Jude Law was really good. I thought Johnny Depp was like meh, average, wasn't amazing. What crimes did he commit in this film for the film to be called Crimes of Grindelwald? Not much, really. He escaped from prison. That's a crime.
Yeah, that one. I suppose he's committed the crimes previously.
Yeah, the past crimes of Grindelwald should be called that.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go back to this again. Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yeah.
The beasts part of this film felt so shoved in for no reason to me.
There was like 2 parts of the film, really.
Yeah, like the whole sequence where, you know, in the first film we go inside his bag and we see this big magical world full of beasts and stuff. That's cool. They didn't need to do it again in this film.
No, that
whole
kind
sequence
of wasted.
It was just filler. Like that character that was clearly in love with him and he didn't see it.
Yeah.
It was like, why? There's just another adding to the already huge roster of characters that didn't do anything and didn't need to be in it.
No, it was kind of like, we need to get the Nifflers back in it. That's what it kind of felt like.
I kind of liked the Nifflers. They were cute. That was cool, but then it didn't serve if it had just been that, it would have been fine.
I feel like the only purpose it served so that he could get the Nifflers, so that in the end, the Niffler could do something really good.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like it was.
Right. There was so much of this film where I thought you could see plot things happening because they were so heavy-handedly setting things up previously. Like that Chinese dragon character that they shoved in. Whilst that scene was happening, I was like, I don't think this is done well. But also, you just know that the only reason they're catching him now is to escape on him later in the film. Lo and behold, later in the film, they escape on him.
Oh,
and I was just like, you could see it coming a mile off. And the two people I saw it with didn't agree with this, but the reveal that Credence is a Dumbledore, whether that's a lie or not, earlier in the film, there was a point, I think, where Dumbledore was talking about the Phoenix, and I was like, I feel like this is setting something up. There's a reason they're doing this. And I was like, they're not going to make Credence a Dumbledore, are they? I was like, surely not. That would just be stupid. And then as it got near the end of the film, you could see it was coming, and I was like, no, they're going to do it. They're going to... they've done it.
So, but the problem is, they tell you like who Credence is, and they change it 3 times in about 10 minutes. So the whole story builds to this pinnacle of who Credence is, and we kind of find out who he is. And so there's basically a French guy, Yusuf, the black guy.
Yeah.
He's like hunting him down because he believes... We don't really know why he's hunting him at first. Mm-hmm. And then we find out basically in the scene where he captures him, he kind of goes, your dad stole my mum and had a baby with her, which was the Lestrange that we had throughout the film. Yeah. So it was like, we can connect those 2 people.
Yeah.
And your dad had a baby with another woman, and that's you. So you're Lestrange's half-brother. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to kill you because I made a blood pact with my father who was mad at Lestrange.
Yes.
Right?
I think that's correct, yeah.
And then the female Lestrange comes in. What's her first name? Letta.
Yeah.
Letta Lestrange comes in and goes, no! He's Credence, my half-brother is already dead. So I'm like, what, Credence is dead? But it's not, because she was on a ship from Europe to America that sunk.
Yep.
That was never explicitly said as the Titanic, but is kind of assumed.
Oh, I'd not put that. Is it Titanic?
I don't know. I don't know. That's what my girlfriend thought it was, but I don't know. Or it's just another sinking ship.
Okay, it was a boat. It sunk.
It's a boat that sunk. And her brother was crying a lot, so she swapped it for another baby.
Because she was a kid, and she was just like, it keeps crying. Stop crying.
And this was like her... And we saw a boggart for about 2 minutes, and it was like, this veil. What is this veil? And it's basically like a baby floating into the sea. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, oh no, the person you want to kill's already dead. So you're like, well then who is Credence? And then about 10 minutes later, you find out that he's a Dumbledore. Yeah. So what are the chances are that she swapped a baby that was Dumbledore as well on this boat? And another thing is, how did she get back to Hogwarts?
Yeah.
So she was on a boat to America. Where did this ship sink? Did she go to America in the end? Did she come back? Why did her guardian that was looking after her live in Paris? That whole bit just makes no sense to me,
and it's so overly complicated.
And I don't understand why she ends up back at Hogwarts. Furthermore to that, she ends up in some like weird brother love triangle.
Yeah.
With like Newt and his brother.
Yep.
And then so basically, she dies in the end to Grindelwald. Mm-hmm. But it's like twist, she's going to be with Grindelwald because she's like holding his hand.
Yeah.
And then he lets him walk away, and then she starts attacking.
Yeah.
And then as she's about to die, she turns to the salamanders, to both brothers.
Yeah.
And you don't know who she's saying it to. She goes, I loved you. I've always loved you. Or something.
But they're both standing next to each other.
They're both standing next to each other. And she was engaged to marry Newt's brother.
But it's low-key suggested that she loves Newt, not the brother.
Yeah, throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
It's kind of like suggested that she's loved him. And then Newt...
And also, to add another layer of plot, needless on top of that I've forgotten her name, Newt's kind of semi-girlfriend saw a picture of the two brothers and Lita, and she thought that Newt was engaged to her when it was the brother that was engaged to her instead, but the newspaper wrote it wrong, and then she started going out with someone else because she thought that he had broken up with her, even though neither of them had broken up with each other, and then they realised that they actually hadn't and didn't really get back together, but they kind of came to terms with it, I think.
Yes. I think you're right there.
Too many things happening.
Yeah, it was just it's just a bit shit.
Yeah.
Those two sisters I thought were just terrible. Like the whole when every scene they were in were just a bit crap. So Queenie, who's in love with the Muggle,
I really didn't like Queenie either.
Oh gosh,
so grating.
So she went over to Grindelwald because she loves the Muggle, but she left him to go with
Yes.
Grindelwald because she loves him.
Right. I wasn't clear on this because Grindelwald, as far as I could, because I wasn't clear on his plan.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Muggles.
He kind of says they have a use, as in like beasts of burden have a use, so that they're like the lesser people.
But he was because I thought that he was saying wizards should rule over Muggles. But the reason that he persuaded Queenie was because he was saying you can be with the Muggles and it's not frowned upon, even though it would probably be even worse when that happened because they'd be ruling over Muggles.
Yeah.
But she left because she wanted to be with him, like you said.
But is it because it's frowned upon because Muggles, like, they've not outed themselves to the Muggle world? Do you know, if they're in control of the Muggles and everybody knows that magic exists, then if you have a pet slave lover kind of thing,
you can be with him.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
Either way, I didn't buy her doing it for that reason, and also either way, one of those outcomes, depending on how you read it, doesn't really make any sense.
No.
Stupid.
Absolutely makes no sense. Yeah, like, she wants to basically marry him, and he was like, didn't want to get married, and like, it shows you at the start of the film, she had to use an enchantment on him to make it so that he wanted to marry her because he understood how dangerous it would be for them.
I thought that was a really awkwardly done scene as well. I was just cringing through all of it, where he was like laughing every 2 seconds because he was under an enchantment to love her.
And it went to the first person, and it was just like pink around it. It's like, oh, this is how we're showing an enchantment now, is it? He has pink glow. He was just basically drunk. And then he went outside to like get her back.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I'm going to see my sister in Paris. And then she gets to Paris and she's nowhere to be seen. She just wanders around. Oh, God.
But then they all meet up anyway by pure chance.
Yeah.
There was one more thing I was going to say was that in terms of character development and the way that they structure the story in the original films is we follow Harry. And I think it all works so well because in the books there's obviously a lot more information that isn't included.
In the films.
And their rationale, I remember hearing an interview a little while ago with some of the directors, or someone who was script or something, and they were like, the way that we cut it down is if it's not important to Harry, we got rid of it.
Right.
So everything that happens in those films is always driving forward Harry's story. It's always building on that in some way. Whereas with this one, there was no one thing that they were building on.
No.
It was just scattered bits that were just getting shoehorned in for like, here's an Easter egg, you know this guy. Nothing felt, there was no depth to it because of that.
No cohesion.
No.
Yeah. Like, you can relate to Harry in like the films because he's like the everyman. He's not, you know, he was from a non-magical family almost, and then he's been put into this where there's no one to relate to and follow through. Like, can't relate to.
Are you telling me that there's no person in real life who has a suitcase full of magical characters?
Yes, but I'm not telling you.
Oh.
He's my friend alone.
Oh, goddamn. I'm just so annoyed at it.
It makes me angry.
Yeah, if this was the first one in the series, I don't know whether I could have forgiven it more, but because there's been 2 this has made me like the first one less.
Why?
Because I felt like the first one was setting stuff up and the next one would have gone in this whole new direction. But because they kind of felt similar in the way that we didn't really... I don't think the world is in a different place from the first one to this one now.
No, nothing's changed, really.
Like, we got that glimpse at Grindelwald being a general bad guy in the last one, and I think that's what this one's done as well.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I don't think... I think it has made me like it less because of that.
Yeah, so basically it's like, the first one was throwing a ball up in the air.
And then now it just kept going up a bit.
Well, the second one, it's just fallen to the ground. Like, you've not hit it. You know, you're not smacked out of the park. So you don't enjoy it if someone's thrown the ball. The ball that you just watching it go up, like, oh, that's going to be good when it comes back down. Mm-hmm. And when it comes back down, it's a pile of dog shit. Do you know what I mean? You're like, well, why did you throw it in the first place?
Yep.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Okay. That's that.
Fair enough.
Going back to the Dumbledore reveal from Credence.
Yes.
I really, really, really hope that it's just Grindelwald twisting the truth, well, just creating a lie to get him to believe he's a Dumbledore, rather than he actually is. Because
so what's Grindelwald's plan? You know, go kill your brother?
Yeah. I'm assuming he's going to like poison his mind against him in some way.
Yeah.
But either way, it doesn't make sense that he's a Dumbledore.
No.
Because I felt that rather than building on one of the best things about Harry Potter is this rich kind of backstory and history. And if you want to look into fake history, obviously, of all these characters, you can, because there's loads of... She's created such a dense world. By creating him as a Dumbledore, it's not building on that. It feels like it's kind of just shitting all over that history by just creating something that's not established. Like, they could have built into it, but they just create this whole new thing that has never existed before.
No.
Because Dumbledore's meant to have a brother called Aberforth, I think, and his sister, whose name I can't remember, was killed when she was younger. That's why he's got this tortured kind of childhood.
Yeah.
And then now there's another brother.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a cousin, or maybe it's I don't know.
Dumbledore's son. And Dumbledore was on the boat to America, but got off the boat. And he thought his child died. It wouldn't make any sense.
It wouldn't surprise... Like, they don't need to link all these people.
Why is there a Lestrange in this film? Why did they have to use a Lestrange?
Like, create new characters. It's like that. I was quite happy with the reveal in Star Wars that Rey doesn't appear to have parents.
Yeah.
Because it was like, you don't need to make her an Obi-Wan Kenobi. You don't need to make her the son of a Skywalker. It's just make a new character, and they can be a new character on their own. They don't need to make Credence, who is kind of a compelling, complicated character, and then now you're a Dumbledore.
Yeah.
It's just I wasn't a fan of that. I hope it's a lie.
Yeah.
But then they kind of, the whole thing with the Phoenix setup, with the Dumbledore can summon a Phoenix.
Oh, like
it's said by legend, and then it's like the Phoenix is connected to him, so that kind of confirms that he is a Dumbledore. Because I'm pretty sure that Phoenix is the one that Dumbledore then has in
you think it's
the original films. Yeah, I think it's Fawkes. But again, we don't need an origin story for Fawkes, and we don't need an origin. Just let them be.
Yeah, it's just I was not impressed.
The other thing I've said a few times now is I love the fact that the world feels like a real world, and there's so many like bits that make it up. The people I saw it with, they said like it made the world feel bigger by building on all these scenes that we saw, and I thought it did the opposite. It was like we'd seen different films, because I thought by expanding it made it feel smaller, because they were expanding it with cheap things that they didn't feel as well thought out as things that were in the original films. Like all the creatures felt like those cats, the little like demon familiars that we saw. And I was like, that looks like something like an anime cartoon. It doesn't feel...
Yeah, it was weird looking, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, like why did... I don't understand. So they went to like the library. So I've put this down here. So Newt knew that the Lestrange Vault would hold the truth to Credence's identity, apparently. Because he just kind of comes out with that, and then he goes with Queenie's sister.
Right.
But like he does this in like the last 10 minutes of the film. Well, if he knew that, why didn't he go there from the beginning? And then the librarian kind of lets them in.
Yeah, knowing that they're not who they say they are. Because don't they give fake names?
Yeah. So she's an aura, so she's allowed in, and then Newt's her husband. Yeah. Kind of like plays on the fact that, we like each other, but we're not really, and we're not getting together, and then, anyway.
Yeah.
And then she lets in the Lestrange, who is also an aura.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then she summons them up to have a look at the Lestrange safety box, because she's allowed to go in there.
Yeah.
Right. Then the librarian turns against them.
I have no idea.
I don't understand. And then
I found the whole thing very confusing.
And then instead of Newt going, don't attack them, he was like, explaining what they are, and they're really calm unless you... And then she attacks and goes, attack them. And it's like, oh, God.
It's so
just get to the point.
It's so heavy-handed, isn't it?
Yeah. And like it was like, well, this is... Like, they're never going to die here, are they? Never going to be killed by some cats. No. So it was like false suspense. And then they get away on the... is that when they get away on the dragon?
Yeah, that's when they escape.
Yeah.
I just feel a bit exasperated with it all. Especially after talking about it now, and it's all kind of coming back to me. It's just... Yeah. It's not good.
No, and like, so... And then when the Lestrange dies at the end...
Yeah.
Did you care?
No.
No, I didn't care.
I couldn't care less about any of them.
No. Dumbledore, I could care about Dumbledore.
I could care about Dumbledore, but there's no risk involved by doing these prequel films, because we know he's going to... We know that Grindelwald gets defeated, and we know that Dumbledore's fine. Then we don't care about all these other characters that aren't as compelling as pretty much any other character in the other films. So what's the point in them?
Yeah.
Also, Nicholas Flamel.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Because I quite...
Oh, they just shoehorned him in.
Yeah, for no reason.
Oh, he literally... Oh, God. Yeah, because Dumbledore's like, I've got an old friend that you could go...
Wink, wink.
Wink,
wink,
wink.
wink, wink.
And I didn't really get it at first. And then like, they're like staying at his house for ages. And then he just like pops up like, hello, I'm Nicholas Flamel. And he was like speaking to a muggle who had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
And then he just turns up at the end and kind of saves the day.
But he doesn't really do anything either.
Apart from
he's like, stick your wands in the floor.
Stick your wands in the ground against these fire dragons.
Yeah.
That had kind of come out of nowhere.
If we work together, we can overcome anything. It felt like that kind of moment.
And it just like was all like, we're going to stick our pieces of wood in the ground.
Yep.
And not die.
Because we know him from...
Because otherwise Paris would have been destroyed.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, because he was like... He just goes, I hate Paris.
Yeah.
I hate Paris.
Yeah.
And then sends out these flames to kill everything.
Because we know Nicholas Flamel from film 1 because he created the Philosopher's Stone. And
which we see, don't we?
Yeah, we see it. But it's just like, why do we need to see it? I feel like he should have been this wise, kind of mysterious character who could have just stayed mysterious and wise.
Oh, yeah.
Not make him this weird... wispy old man who felt like he was about to break at any minute.
And he like bit of comedy relief because he did like this little weird like bouncing up and down as he walked along. Like,
yeah.
Oh, so frustrating.
Angering.
Yeah, and why did he look like a Snow King from Game of Thrones or something? Or like Gandalf the White or something. Terrible.
I feel bad now because I suggested we review this film this time last week because it hadn't come out yet, obviously.
No.
I thought this would be a fun thing to review because we both like Harry Potter. And I feel bad now because I feel like this has just become an episode on just a rant.
This is one long complaint. This is going to become the big front of everything.
Because I feel like it's just, I was really hoping that one of us would have enjoyed it at least so it's not as tedious.
No,
as
I expected you to really enjoy it. And I thought we were going to have some sort of argument. And I thought I was going to be the one that's like a grumps about it. And then... My girlfriend let it slip that you didn't enjoy it as well, and I was like, well, this is just going to be a whinge fest.
So that's it.
No.
I really want more to be able to say I enjoyed about this, but this has made me less interested for the rest of this franchise.
Yeah. I feel like it's just trying to set up for other films.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a real setup. And I think Fantastic Beasts, the first one, was not a setup for this film, really. It had a bit of Credence, had a bit of Grindelwald, a little bit. But
I honestly wish that they had done a one-film standalone on Dumbledore and Grindelwald and culminated with because in the books it's been said that their fight when he got defeated was like the pinnacle of fighting in the wizarding world.
Yeah.
So we know that that's coming, but just do that in one film. If they wanted to do a prequel thing, because this is setting up characters we don't care about to either die or fade into nothingness because we don't hear about them in the original films.
Definitely.
So they're obviously not going to survive, or if they do, it doesn't matter anyway because we're not going to hear from them. So don't drag this out for... How many films is it going to be? Because I have a feeling they said 5.
Oh, God. Is this 5 more, or have we done 2 already?
No, it's 5 in total, I think.
Okay.
So we've got 3 following this.
Yeah.
Which I'm assuming the 5th film will then culminate in the fight. But how much filler are we going to have in between about Credence and...
I don't understand why... this film starts off with Newt being asked by the Ministry of Magic to go and find Credence and kill him.
Yes.
Right? So he can become an aura and they'll lift his ban on travelling because there was a ban from the last film because he messed up in New York. Right?
Yeah.
But why did that have to be Newt?
I don't know.
When obviously he doesn't want to be... He's not a nasty person. He's not going around killing people. I feel like they got him in only because there was a previous film. Like if they'd just done the first film as like the Fantastic Beasts as a setup for the Grindelwald story, and then we'd never seen Newt again, and that whole story I think would have been great. I think that would have been much better, and they could have had more time to deal with the characters that are actually important in this film.
Yep.
So like Grindelwald, Credence, Dumbledore are basically the only important people.
Then leave everyone else out.
Yeah,
because then if they'd focused, it would have been far more interesting to see Dumbledore getting exasperated and worried because he knows that Grindelwald's going to be taking over the world and there's nothing he can do about it. And watching his struggle would have been far more interesting than Newt faffing about the place.
Oh, yeah.
Not doing anything,
No,
really.
No, and I didn't understand. So the Ministry sent somebody else to kill Credence.
Yeah, who was... I thought that was meant to be someone we'd end up knowing because they set it up and Newt was like, what's he doing here? And I was like, oh, who's this character? No one. He's no one.
No,
he's working for Grindelwald, but that was evident from the beginning because they set him up as some evil character who was obviously posing as a good character.
I would have liked him better if he was just some gritty kind of like...
one for hire mercenary type guy.
Almost. Or like that's what he does for the Ministry is, he's like an undercover guy who goes around and kills people who need killing.
He's just brutal.
Yeah.
No morals.
Like, the Ministry don't like him. That's obvious the Ministry don't like him. That's fine. But then basically it turns out he's basically being bribed by Grindelwald, and I don't really... Grindelwald just goes, you'll be remembered in the future.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, what? And then we don't see him for the rest of the film. And he turns up the only thing he does is kill the carer of the Lestranges.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who it turns out it's not his parents anyway. So I don't understand why they have to kill this half-elf thing anyway.
Nope. Lazy, messy, bad.
Can we talk about Nagini?
Nagini.
Nagini.
Another... So many bloody characters. Completely pointless. And also, how does she go from... Does she become evil... Well, I'm assuming we'll see why she becomes evil. Because she's obviously going to become a snake, which was very, very evident. They said, and we already knew because we have seen her in the films, as Voldemort's pet, effectively. Yes. She seems like she's a good-hearted person at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that she will turn evil when... She seems to kind of be a bit in love with Credence. So my prediction is she will turn evil when he's killed in a future film.
Probably.
And then she'll become Voldemort's
And she has to say a snake. And it kind of like grandstanding at the beginning, and she's like in this cage, and this guy's like, she's accursed by the Amazonians, and she turns into a snake, and eventually she will stay a snake forever. And then he like bangs on the cage. Oh, you've not turned into a snake. And she's like, you will turn into a snake. And she doesn't, because she's looking at Credence. And then she finally goes, you'll turn into a snake, and she does.
Yeah,
and it's like, I think that scene's cool where she like transforms. I think that's cool imagery. But like she plays almost no role throughout the whole film, apart from like running around after Credence and kind of telling Credence not to do stuff, which that could have been any character. Like, unless they're going to really build on her characters in the upcoming films, she was kind of useless, and it's kind of just... I feel like they're using the whole of Harry Potter's universe as a crutch for a bad film.
Yeah.
Like, those people that enjoyed it have liked it because, oh, I know who Nagini is. Oh, I know the Lestrange name. Oh, Dumbledore, I know that.
Yep.
Oh, Newt, a little bit like that. You've heard Flamel. Oh, I've heard that in the past. I don't think there was an utterance of spells in this film. Like, there were spells, really. But I don't think anything was ever said.
No,
apart from maybe
which
that
is
last
established
one.
That they don't need to. It's like when you get to a certain level, you can just think the spell rather than say it. But
like in a lot of the Harry Potter films, when it's like a really important spell, they say it anyway, don't you?
Yeah.
Do you know, like, a lot of the time to make it obvious what they're doing. A lot of this was just like, I've got light coming out at the end of my wand.
I thought so. All of these things, I think, like you've just said, rather than they should be building on the current universe, but it really takes away, it lessens it. And yeah, with the spells specifically, Avada Kedavra, the killing one, when we see that in the original films, you feel the weight of that being such a bad thing. Yeah. Whereas this one, like you said, they never utter it, and you see the green light a few times, but it's just kind of like, again, if you didn't know that, it doesn't feel, there's no weight to it.
No.
So...
No. It's, because they use it to kill a child, don't they, like, pretty early on. Which I feel like it would have been better for Grindelwald to do the actual spell. Because
it would have been, again, showing that he is committing crimes. He is an evil guy.
But he's almost like a mafia boss that, like, his hands don't touch anything. Yeah, I feel like if he'd have just come in and just nonchalantly, just casually just killed a child.
Kill the baby.
Rather than it being like, he comes down, like, looks in the eye, and then just walks off, doesn't say anything to his, like... subordinates, and then she kills him.
Yeah, even a simple line as he was leaving with, kill it.
Do it.
Do it. Feel the power of the dark side.
Yes.
I feel like I make too many Star Wars references on this.
Well, at least there's no time travel in this one.
Yeah.
No,
it's coming. I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah, maybe Grindelwald wins, and then they'll just you'll just see Dumbledore with a time turner, and he goes back.
A different time period. I'd have preferred to have seen the period of, again, I don't know whether it would have been better or not, like Harry's children seeing something new. There'd have at least been some stakes. In this film, there's not, and there won't be. There's nothing they can really do to make the stakes feel high. We know Dumbledore's going to survive. We know Grindelwald's going to...
Yeah, the only characters we really care about... Credence is the only person who's a bit of a mystery.
Yeah, but again, I feel like there's going to be no payoff because we don't hear about them in the original films, and we know that it's not really going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I feel like we should have brought a third person onto this podcast so we had some counterpoint. Because I couldn't get my head round when I was discussing it with the two people that I went with that enjoyed it. We were using the same reasons for why we liked it and why we didn't like it. It was like they said it expanded the world, and I was like, it did, but it cheapened it by doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just going to be completely down to opinion whether you like it or not. And I think quite clearly we didn't.
I think if you can look at the film objectively and take it as a film in and of itself, and you're not in love with the Harry Potter world, you can see that it's not a good film.
Yeah.
But I think if you love the Harry Potter world, you are going to like this film because it builds on that.
I feel like that sentence should apply to me, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're not blinded by the magic, is what I think is.
But that's because I don't think the magic was there to do the blinding.
Yeah.
I don't think they did a good enough job of that. Well, this is finishing on quite a down tone, really. Okay, let's try and make this happier.
Okay.
Moving forward,
yes,
we think that there are 3 films. I think it's been confirmed.
Sure.
Am I making that up?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. The next three films, what do you want to see happen? Can they save this? Do you think that if the next film is amazing, you can kind of forgive this one?
I don't know.
Are you capable of enjoying them again?
The thing is, now they've made Queenie go with Grindelwald, that she's going to have to be in the next couple of films.
Yeah.
Because she seems like she's just going to be Grindelwald's sidekick.
Yeah.
Kind of. So that she can go with the person she loves. Anyway, so I think I don't really like her as a character. So unless, something happens and she dies.
Yeah.
Maybe if, I don't know, Newt ends up killing her and then his best friend hates him.
Yeah.
But he has to do it. Or like he tries to shoot Grindelwald and she steps in the way.
Yeah.
Spelling.
Shoot with an AK-47.
Yeah. Well, that might end the whole thing a bit quick, won't it? Wrong time frame, innit? Do they have AKs then? Well, they might do.
I think they would. Oh, would they? Probably not. A gun.
Well, yeah, so there could be something there. Yeah. Maybe does Newt's brother now hate Newt because his fiance's died? Is that a story they're going to build on? Like I've said, I wish they just got rid of everything to do with Newt in this film.
Yeah.
And then focused on the things that are important. So if they do that for the next film, but I feel like they've already committed to it now.
We've got to get through 3 more before this. What are they going to fill with that? I can't see what they're going to fill it with.
Do you think they'll pull Credence back onto their side in the next film, and then he'll change sides again?
I think that will happen maybe over a longer time period.
Okay.
I think so. In the next film we see him, I think he'll have become evil, or not, maybe not intentionally, but he'll be on the bad side. And then at the very end, he'll get his redemption by
he'll have a crisis of consciousness,
turning good. Crisis of consciousness.
No.
Conscience?
Conscience.
Crisis of conscience.
Crisis of conscience.
Not consciousness. Yeah. He's going to get knocked out, but in a good way.
He's just unconscious on the floor. Oh no, he's having a real crisis. Oh.
It would be a bloody crisis.
That is a crisis, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh god.
Is it ever explained why he can just turn into dust?
He's an obscurial.
Okay.
I think his power has manifested in a way because it was meant. I think the idea is that it was suppressed for so long, it kind of manifested in this powerful state because it kind of built and built and built, and then it's let out like that.
Okay.
I think
basically
that's
blue balling his magic.
Yeah.
until he
becomes super
ejaculate his spells everywhere.
Oh god. Always have to lower the tone.
Yeah. Well. So
I think that's the idea.
Can they save it? If this film's anything to go by, no.
Yeah, I don't see how it's going to come back. The only way that I would like to see it happen is if we're getting 3 more films. This one, we're going to have one more film to close this chapter.
Yeah.
That's where the big fight happens. That's where this Fantastic Beasts trilogy, let's call it, is closed. And then we get 2 more films from a different angle. We're not following Newt anymore.
No.
It's new characters.
Yeah, I think Newt didn't work as a main character.
No, I don't find... he's very odd. I don't know what they were going for, but it almost felt like he had some kind of social problems. Like he couldn't look people in the eye. He can't. It was like, I don't know if that's what they were going for, but it felt like he felt painfully awkward a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And didn't know how to interact with
You're saying
people.
he might be a little bit autistic, is that you kind of get
Maybe
Asperger's.
that's why it kind of made me feel uncomfortable, because I didn't know whether they were going for that or whether it was just coming across like that.
I think their intent was he is better around animals than he is people. I think that was kind of their intent.
Because
but he's not relatable.
No.
Or maybe I like people too much. Do you know what I mean? Maybe people that are like more socially awkward find him more relatable.
Maybe. If that's the case, then that's great, but it just didn't feel very interesting. It felt very bland.
Yeah.
I really want more to like about it.
Yeah, I think if they're going to go, they need to go grittier in like the next few films, because there was like bits of it that were a bit gritty. Like I think it started off really well with Grindelwald like escaping.
Yeah,
that scene was like...
That scene set it up feeling like, okay, this is cool. They're going for like action. We're getting like war kind of vibes, which very quickly disappeared.
Yeah, and kind of just like comic relief mixed in with kind of people dying.
But awkward comedy.
Yeah,
I don't think there might have been a couple of bits, I can't remember what, that I actually laughed for the right reason, not because I thought this is ridiculous. There wasn't many bits of humour that landed for me.
I enjoyed the Niffler flying on a cork.
That was cool.
That was nice.
That was nice.
Yeah, thanks about it.
Right, so we're saying good things about the film, Niffler flying on a cork.
Yes.
Bad things about this film, everything else.
Jude Law was good.
Okay, Jude Law. Jude Law and a Niffler, everything else bad.
Jude Law and a Niffler.
Jude Law and a Niffler. There we go, I think we've got the episode title. Yeah, give me more Jude Law. That's how they could save this.
Yeah, I was unsure about him, but then did you notice how like his hair and beard grew as well?
A little bit, it did.
Like
didn't
that
it?
last
I
scene,
don't know
he
if
had,
that
like,
was just
much
me or
longer hair.
whether it did.
No, yeah, like the last scene he had much longer hair.
Yeah, I like.
And why did it? So when the film ends with Newt going to Hogwarts and giving Dumbledore the charm that Grindelwald had that contained the Blood Brother Pact charm,
which I'm assuming is going to be kind of like the Horcruxes, that they have to destroy it before they can take on Grindelwald. Because Dumbledore's the only one that can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But why did the whole team go to Hogwarts? Why did the non-mage go to Hogwarts? And then they just like walked across the thing, and it kind of had. They were both walking across this bridge, and it kind of has, for me, imagery from Prisoners of War. Okay. Where you kind of like you walk across a bridge, and you cross in the middle, and you make and like why they stayed at the edge of the bridge and couldn't come along. Like why were they even there if they didn't come along on the bridge?
That scene again, they could have cut down on time from the film by just cutting straight to Dumbledore's office with just Newt and him there.
Yeah,
and they could have had that conversation.
Yeah. I don't know why it was on a bridge and why the others had to watch.
The only thing I could say is because that bridge holds a lot of iconic imagery from the original films. It's where the battles took place. It's where we've seen it before. That's the only thing I can rationalize it.
Not happy.
But yeah, give me more young, sexy Dumbledore.
Yes. Well, you don't see much. He doesn't. You're not really shown that he's a wizard in this whole film. Really, he's just a character.
No, not really.
Which I think is worked well for him. Yeah. Almost like I think that works quite well.
He definitely has that presence though that you want from a Dumbledore character.
Yeah, definitely.
He feels. I don't know. He's good. Well, is that enough of us slating this film?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Please email in if you have a differing opinion, because I would love to have a debate with someone over the stuff that they liked.
Yes. If you like this, do email in.
Yeah, please do. bar@twosheepinapool.com. BAA like a sheep. Right, is that it? We're finishing here?
Yep, that's done.
Cool. If you have enjoyed what you've heard, you can subscribe to us on your podcast app of choice. Give us 5 stars if you have liked it. It'll help us out. You can find us in all the usual places: Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, all of that at Two Sheep in a Pool. And like we mentioned, you can email in on bar@twosheepinapool.com. I've been Ben.
And I've been James.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.